Oh boy, this episode. Oh, Clone Wars Season 7, Episode 10. We are approaching the end of the series, even though there are rumors that there's going to be a cliffhanger at the end of the finale, and there will be, even though we know what's going to happen based on Episode 3, there will be more episodes produced about events happening after Episode 3. But I don't know that for certain yet. It's just a rumor that I heard from a friend of mine. But we are fast on the road to the Revenge of the Sith. In fact, you know, the first conversation with Darth Maul, somehow Darth Maul has knowledge of Darth Sidious's plot, because he straight up tells Ahsoka Tano that soon the Jedi will not be in control of the galaxy anymore, or the Republic. It'll be Darth Sidious. So he knew what was coming. And that whole scene was creepy. It's the very beginning of the episode. Now, obviously, with Darth Maul or Maul knowing Palpatine and knowing the plot, it's assumed that he knew what Palpatine was planning, but how did he know it would actually be at this time? You know, that's what I was wondering when I got to that part of the episode. Like, how did he know it would actually be now as opposed to, you know, another day or another week or another month? You know, it seems pretty precise. Now, it gets more interesting because this episode takes place during the time of Episode 3. Like, we find out that this is actually during Episode 3. So these episodes are coinciding side by side with the events of Episode 3. We find this out because Obi-Wan talks to Ahsoka Tano, and they talk about, you know, how their whole report about Darth Sidious, and Obi-Wan suspects that Sidious is the one controlling everything, right? But he doesn't know that Palpatine and Sidious are the same person, even though it seems pretty damn obvious since he's the guy who's in charge. But he talks about how the whole thing's orchestrated by him, and he talks about how he first heard the name from Count Dooku, but he can't get any more information because Count Dooku is dead, which means that these events would have taken place after the battle between Count Dooku and Anakin, you know, where Anakin kills him. So, again, we're now in a story that's actually going side by side with Revenge of the Sith. And this is during the time when Obi-Wan is going to go after General Grievous on Utapau, which, you know, that's a scene a little bit later in the movie. So these scenes, again, they're coinciding with the film. And it's going to be interesting if somebody, and I know it's going to happen, you know it's going to happen, someone's going to be able to do like a super cut where they cut this episode into like the movie and it goes back and forth. Yeah, it'll be weird because you're having live action and CGI models, but it's still kind of a cool idea to see that in chronological order. So I'm sure some super fan out there will do that. That'll be a lot of fun to watch. Maul does elaborate on his knowledge of the clone plan a little bit later in the episode. So it's not that I'm surprised. Don't get me wrong. It's not that I'm surprised. It's just that I'm, you know, I guess a little surprised. I'm not surprised that he knew what he knew about the Sidious plot, about Order 66, excuse me. But, it's just more so hearing him talk about it, you know, is just very creepy, you know, like this whole plan that Palpatine had for decades, you know, well, maybe not decades, but for years at least, you know, is very troubling, you know, and the execution of it, of course, was probably not what he expected, you know, exactly the way he planned it out, mapped it out, but just very weird. And at one point, Maul tells the syndicate leaders to go into hiding. And, you know, they actually explain in the episode that he had a vision and that he actually wanted not only Obi-Wan to be there on the planet, you know, to go there for revenge, but he also wanted Skywalker. So he definitely saw something. And it's interesting that, you know, again, when Episode 3 came out, obviously, originally back in 2005, I saw it in theaters. We had no idea that this was another story going on. Of course, they didn't write it. This is all like retconned Dave Filoni stuff, you know, to add to the lore and to add to the, you know, it adds layers to Episode 3, knowing that there's this other conflict going on with Ahsoka Tano and Maul, Anakin student, and Palpatine student going on somewhere across the galaxy somewhere. And that's just, I actually really like it because even though I'm a little bit irritated that we didn't get that awesome, like, scene of General Grievous like going into Coruscant and taking the Emperor like we saw in the 03 Clone Wars series. I love that stuff. Having this take place at the same time as the movie is really, really cool. And it opens up your eyes, to Maul and sort of what else was going on. Because it makes you wonder what else was going on, like what was going on with some of the other smaller families and smaller characters. Maul I would consider a main character in Star Wars, and not even a small character, but it makes you wonder, like, what layers are being added here. I really enjoyed that aspect of it. So there's a little bit of the fighting at the beginning of the episode, but then later on, Maul shows up in this throne room, and him and Ahsoka Tano have this conversation, and she tries to pull the whole heroic thing. They talk about how she left the Order and how Maul points out they were both kind of pawns in a bigger power. I love it. I love this stuff, and she's all like, "Oh well, if we come to the Jedi Order, you have information about Sidious, we can stop him." And he's like, "No, it's too late. Like, it's already changed. Like He knows it's already changed. He knows that it's too late for the Jedi. The time of the Jedi is over. It's done because this guy has controlled everything, done everything right, essentially. His master plan's about to be executed, and, it's over. Like, it's pretty much done. But he says, he tries to seduce her and is saying, together we can stop him. Because remember, Maul does not like Sidious. If you watch the earlier Clone Wars episodes, Maul feels betrayed by Sidious. So they're not boys anymore, and I don't think he really wants Sidious to be in control like he probably did want back during the Phantom Menace era. I don't think that's the case anymore, you know what I'm saying? Literally. So Ahsoka straight up asks him, what do you want with Anakin? And he's like, he's been groomed for a while to be, for his new role as a destroyer, and she calls him a liar, even though he's telling the truth, that he's been groomed for it. Palpatine's been in his ear since he was a kid, right? This has been something that, it's not like Palpatine knew he would be this powerful, but, at least from the beginning of the Clone Wars, he started seeing the potential in the boy, and that would, of course, lead to what's going on. But also, there's all kinds of other backstory, too, which I'm not going to get into in this video, but Maul and his visions, he was able to figure this out, and I wonder, it's interesting that other Jedi could not figure this out, but he could. What does that say about the Jedi? The dark side does cloud everything, but damn, And then Maul actually reveals that he orchestrated that war to bring them to bring Anakin and Obi-Wan to where he's at so he could kill Anakin, which I don't know if he would have been able to do. I don't know if he's strong enough to do that, but still, so he could kill Anakin and basically screw Sidious over, and rob him of his prized pupil, as he says. But she, of course, doesn't believe him because she knows Anakin so well, right? And then they both draw out their lightsabers, and here we go. This fight between Darth Maul, or formerly Darth Maul, between Maul and Ahsoka Tano, is better than any of the fights in the sequel trilogy. This was so good. This was so well done, so well choreographed. Yeah, they weren't even real people, but it was so, like, they're not real, like, actors and doing, stuntmen. It's all CGI and generated graphics, computer-generated graphics, but, oh my goodness, it was so good. It was so damn good, and I'm just, like, floored by how good it was. And we could have seen this kind of stuff in movies, of course, but it was just so exciting, and the music, it felt like Star Wars. It felt like a truly epic battle. It was just so incredible. So the episode ends with Darth Maul actually getting captured by the clones, and he's screaming, "We're all gonna die, we're all gonna die." So next week, Order 66 will happen, and I'm gonna predict that Ahsoka's gonna end up saving Maul. That's what I think is gonna happen. I don't know if she's going to actually figure out that Anakin is the one that actually turns bad. Probably not, considering what happened in Rebels. But she's probably going to end up saving Maul, I think, because of the clone's betrayal. But again, that's just my guess. I don't know for certain that's going to happen. It's just my speculation. But overall, this episode was unbelievable. This is my new favorite episode of this season of the Clone Wars. It's just, it had everything you could ever want. The music, the action, the directing, the fight scenes, and Maul just... the tie-ins to episode 3 and, the way Maul was talking and his goals and the way it just added, like, this episode actually made Revenge of the Sith a better movie, a better story, and Revenge of the Sith is the best prequel, right? Easily. But it's got flaws, obviously. This made that movie even more emotional, honestly. It made it even more powerful, And also the fact that it was called The Phantom Apprentice is just, because it applies to kind of both of them. I love it. Just loved it. Loved it so much. Thank you so much. Let me know what you think in the comments about this great episode, and we'll talk soon.